350. Are you feeling nifty? It's Johnny Icebag, folks, and I'm back again. Let's update this little wheel here to now. Yeah, it's the here in Banff, Mountain Standard Time. The ascendant is 9 degrees. Libra. That would be our path of this particular chart, right? And look at it. Look at where it's at. The sun's at 12 degrees, and Venus is conjunct the sun right now. The sun has actually just consumed Venus, and he's just actually that's Venus. And look where Jupiter is. Jupiter is about ready to conjunct my ascendant, right? My ascendant is 1 degree 55 minutes. Let me get rid of the noise. And let's try to teach you a whole bunch about astrology in under 15 minutes, okay? Right now, we're in a very unique time, okay? All time is unique, right? And there's patterns of time, but but moments are unique, right? To their influence. The influence of what we have here on our environmental influence right here actually includes the solar system, if you want to think that deeply. Look at where we're at right now. The planet Neptune is entering a crossover period. It's entering its second house, but it's in this trade over energy, right? From one cusp, on the cusp of the houses, you got the house of Pisces meeting up with the house of Aries, and that's what we're looking at right now. Neptune's going to be doing this for a little bit over a year or so. He's going to be on this waypoint. But the thing is, this podcast right here is for those who want to really have a 20-year plan with Neptune, okay? It's not even a 20-year plan. No, it's not. It's like a 15-year plan, right? I'm going to tell you what I'm talking about right now because it's this trade over energy. We learn a lot about these planets and we learn a lot about astrology when the trade over energy is amplified by a planet moving over one side. And we see it all the time. We could always find these trade over moments, right? So I'm going to show you this right now because right now Neptune's in this trade over time period. Neptune's been sitting on my personal natal moon, which is 26 degrees 49 minutes Pisces. It's been sitting there and he's finally moving away from it, but it's been sitting there for the last 2 years, right? And he's been in this whole entire Pisces house for how long, right? It's been a few years now. So, and we're going to learn a lot, because people are out there, they're talking about this and that and the next thing. And we're going to see where Pluto is, because we're also, what's going on with Pluto and what's going on in Neptune are very similar, right? Pluto takes a little bit longer to get around the zodiac, but Neptune is not that much faster. It's like 165 years for Neptune to do one lap around the stars. So every 82.5 years or so, he's opposite of where he was, say for instance right now. And 165 years from now, Neptune will be back to where he is right now. Okay? Neptune is a very interesting thing, right? Neptune rules Christianity, rules spiritualism, right? Rules things of liquids. Neptune can rule the gas that is ignited to make the rocket go, but the rocket itself has that Uranus and Jupiter and Mars kind of attributes to the rocket, right? To the missile, Just because, the head of the missile, the explosion, the calamity, all these planets are working together in that one thing. It's supposed to be, Jupiter's supposed to be a nice guy, but sometimes he's a bad guy, right? You know, it's this motion. That's what Jupiter is. The motion, the speed, the velocity. That's what Jupiter is. So let's move forward here, folks. Let's understand everything there is really quick here. It's 3:55, and by 4:05, I want to be done with this. I want to show you this very simply. I don't want to get I don't want to get confused with too many asteroid readings or anything like this. I want to get right down to the point of what it's like and what kind of influence, because it's this path, right? I mean, if the ascendant is the ascendant, that's the path of the chart, right? So let's move to the next chart, okay? This is the chart here. And what is this chart right here? I got a bunch of little details for you today. And I want to move through this quickly so you can understand the points of interest. Vladimir Putin is the warlord of the hour, okay? He's at 3 degrees Scorpio, and he's got a Venus at 11 degrees Scorpio. And this 3-11 degrees, this is a very important time period, right? Then let's look at his node here. His node is at 18 degrees Aquarius, okay? Very important fellow to look at. And then he's also got a Jupiter in Taurus. Uranus has just moved over as Jupiter in Taurus, right? He's just seen all these kind of these transits. But the big thing that we want to know right now is as Neptune moves through Aries, to get to Taurus, he must oppose a lot of Putin's planets, okay? He's got a sun at 13 degrees, Libra. So as Neptune moves through there, he's going to see this. What else does he have in Libra? He has a Saturn at 17 degrees, and he's got a Neptune at 21 degrees, right? That's his trio right there. And then he's got the ascendant at 3 degrees Scorpio. So over the next not nearly 20 years, Neptune is going to be showing all kinds of oppositions to Putin, right? And Putin's like a Pluto guy, right? Putin's a Pluto guy, and he's a Mars guy, but he's also a Venus and Saturn kind of guy, because he's got this Libra sun, and he's got Saturn in that Libra sign, right? And that's there in his 12th house of Neptune, right? You see Saturn's sitting there in that 12th house of Neptune, along with Mercury and Neptune at home in his 12th house. Wow, we're going to learn so much about astrology today, okay? In just a few moments, you know? Because we are studying, folks, trade over periods. And we have a whole entire, we don't have 20 years, but we're going to have the next 20 years until Putin is done with this planet doing what he's doing, until someone moves him off the planet. We have to look at the alignment of charts that I have for him in the study of Neptune crossing over from Aries to Taurus, okay? And then from Libra to Scorpio, okay? So here we go. This is the Grand Cross. We are all live. We're all going to this double Grand Cross. I wanted to show you this because this Grand Cross actually lines up perfectly to Putin's chart, just because Jupiter is at 11 degrees for this Grand Cross. He's at 11 degrees Scorpio. Then he's got the sun is at, for this Grand Cross Scorpio, the sun is at 9 degrees Scorpio. And then we get the nodes at 6 degrees Scorpio and 6 degrees Taurus conjunct Neptune. Okay? And what is that Neptune guy going to be doing? You know, as we move back, as we move from this, and once again, look at this Mars thing. Mars and Uranus They are both. But and then Chiron too. Chiron is going to be squaring. Chiron's going to be squaring Putin's ascendant, and Mars and Uranus is going to be squaring Putin's Venus in the first house of Aries. All right, ruled by Scorpio with the Scorpio overlap. Okay, very important charts, right? This is Sunday. The Father's aptly speaking with me because I'm born 3 degrees Leo, right? This Chiron here, at 4 degrees Leo, on November 1st, 2041, it will be conjunct my sun at 2 degrees 34 minutes Leo, right? But most importantly, I have a Jupiter at 12 degrees Leo, right? These conjunctions, I'm pretty sure that Uranus is perfectly conjunct. I mean, I think it's only like 3 minutes out or something. As I have my bone broth, right? With cayenne pepper and turmeric and ginger. Okay, so here we go. Let's look at this, okay? Let's move to where Neptune enters Taurus, okay? I wasn't planning on doing this podcast, but the Father he started shuffling me all this information out of the blues, and it's crazy, right? It's amazing how he works. So you wake up, all of a sudden I have this compulsion. I have to put this information together. I'm not even concerned about the amount of work. And it's like a day's work to put all these charts together, right? Not quite a day. Little minutes here and there, okay? Okay, so here we go. Part-time minutes. Little breaks here and there. You're looking at the podcast. But the thing is that the dates just line up so quickly. These are like nearly effortlessly that they're just sitting inside my soul. And I have a Mars in Scorpio at 3 degrees, which is conjunct Vladimir Putin's ascendant, right? My eye is observing his, okay? And you can look where Putin's moon is. Putin's moon is at 2 degrees 54 minutes, and my moon and my ascendant Gemini is 1 degree 55 minutes, and we are only days away. Until Jupiter crosses over, because he's right there. He's in that trade over period around that Putin's moon. Jupiter Jupiter, which is conjunct my ascendant right now, is on his way to basically cross over in the next week. He will cross over Putin's moon. Okay, this is what Jupiter's doing. It's going to be a very interesting week to watch. Now, I am going to come back here. You're going to love this because this is absolutely amazing how this all lines up. Okay, so in 2039, every 82.5 years, Neptune does this half cycle thing, right? So in 2039, he will enter Taurus, right? And Neptune will actually cross over my north node in Taurus in the 12th house. Neptune would do that, right? So here I am talking to you like that because it's an incarnation thing, right? It's my incarnation to give this presentation today. Now, we're going to go back in time again an 82.5 years from March 23rd to 2039. These charts are so lined up. You think about it. The Father, the Sun, is at 3 degrees Aries, and for this chart, when Neptune moves over, look at the degree mark. Look at these degree marks. 0 degrees, it's right there on the ascendant, right? Pluto and Mars are going to be the rulers of the chart, right? And here's Pluto at 24 degrees, Aries, or Aquarius. Look what this is. And look at Mars. And look at Pallas Athena, right? They're all there on this day when Neptune moves over. Okay, in Paris, France. Everything's lined up to Paris, France. You'll see by the end of this podcast why. Okay? So, Neptune enters Scorpio. Here's this. I'm going to show you the charts first. That way you can look at them and do your screenshots and what have you. So you have them for yourself. Neptune enters Scorpio, and 1955 on Christmas Eve. You're going to love this day and what this day shows us. And here it is. I'll back up here again. Here it is. Neptune is right there. Look at this. This is actually conjunct my natal Neptune, because I have a natal Neptune at 21 degrees Scorpio, right? But here is Neptune crossing over the crossover period. And that date was a date in history. And then we have Neptune in Taurus, 1875, right? We're just going back, and here he is. He's just crossed over, and look at this. There was all kinds of stuff happening this year as well. We have, there's abundance of information during these time periods because how heavy Neptune actually is in our life, okay? Taurus is actually, Pluto here would be squaring Pluto in our 2030, in our 2039 chart. Pluto would be squaring, because when you go back here, here's the Grand Cross. Here's Pluto at 26 degrees. And then when he enters, where's Pluto at 24 degrees? He only moves 2 degrees in that year, right? And that's 2 years. But look what the square is with 21 degrees. See? Here it is. And where's Pluto? Pluto is at 28 degrees. Sorry, the mouse likes to mess up. Okay, so here we are, 28 degrees. Pluto would be opposed, right? So when you look at the 2039 chart, or even when you look at the 2041 chart, Pluto's in a waxing opposition to where he was in Scorpio 1955. Very important dates to know, guys. You're going to be great astrologers. These are the dates, these are the charts you're going to want to know. If you're going to be the king of the class and have all the brass, these are your charts, right? Because this axis is a significant axis point, as history proves right here. And whatever date you don't want to pick, this is the date you really want to know about, right? Okay? That's the only way we can make lives better in the future. And we're all going to be here, unless someone gets really stupid, to talk about what this day is going to be like. Because we know what it's like in history. Every single time this Neptune thing happens, stuff is absolutely doing things, right? So we're going to go back to 1795. This is the 27th of June. Now, I want to show you this because look where Neptune is. Very significant date. Okay, and I'll get into the reason why. June 27, 1795, very significant date, but it's Neptune is at 3 degrees Scorpio for this date. He's in retrograde, right? But he is conjunct Pluto's ascendant, or Putin's ascendant. When you look at Putin's ascendant, Neptune has just crossed over Putin's ascendant here. It's like 28 minutes out, right? For Putin, like Neptune's getting ready to cross. Neptune is about ready to go back over Putin's ascendant here. And look where the moon is for this date. Look at where this moon is for this date. It's at 11 degrees Scorpio, which is, it's 11 degrees, 36 minutes Scorpio. That's where the moon is. And Venus is at 11 degrees, 42 minutes. You know, how far out is that? Just minutes, right? 8 minutes? 6 minutes. 6 minutes out. That's how far out it is. It's only 6 minutes out. For, that's how lined up these charts all are to this one gentleman, who could very well be considered like an antichrist, because he's definitely trying to exterminate life, right? To be opposite of what Christ, because Christ wanted us all to be able to, have our ascension. But Putin's message, Putin's path is, let's not talk about ascension. Let's just talk about extermination, right? So, Reign of Terror. That's the next chart back. Now, this is very interesting because this is the actual date that the Reign of Terror in history. This is the actual alpha moment of the Reign of Terror, right? Talking September 5th, 1793. Look where Jupiter is at noon. Jupiter is actually conjunct 24 degrees. That Scorpio ascendant would absolutely square Pluto in Aquarius. That ascendant would absolutely square Pluto and Jupiter as well. That would be absolutely square Pluto in Aquarius in 2041. And 39 for that matter too, eh? I mean, as you know, it's at 2039 point, right? When Neptune moves over, right? We know the chart. When we go back up here like this, and we look at 2039 point, and we look at that 25-degree mark, look at Sagittarius. Look where the nodes are. Sagittarius is 25 degrees. But, you know, look where Jupiter is. Jupiter's squaring. There's a square to Jupiter, right? And then, you know, and then look at here, Saturn. Saturn's at 25 degrees. You know, but here, then again, here's Pluto and Mars, and all these guys are sitting at that Aquarius moment of 24 degrees. They're sitting right together. Mars wants to be 24 degrees. Look, he's 38 minutes. He wants to be it. This wants to be 25. Right? This wants to be 19. And we look at this. We look at this point in our chart, because when we look at that point of our chart, we have to remember once again Pluto, or Putin, I should say. He should be named Pluto because, you know, here he is, Putin, the Pluto guy, because he's got that Scorpio ascendant. But look at where Saturn, look at where his Jupiter is at 19 degrees, and look where his Mars is at 26 degrees. Look at these numbers lining up, all right, to this chart. But, you know, you look at that Pallas Athena guy, that Pallas Athena there is Aquarius. That Pallas Athena is absolutely squared Putin's Jupiter and Taurus, right? It's absolutely there. One degree out. Not quite 1 degree out. Lots of cayenne in the broth. Okay, so when we're going back here again, this is the end of the Reign of Terror. Once again, there's that Scorpio, 25 degrees, okay? This is the beginning of the Reign of Terror, okay? Look where Uranus is for the beginning of the Reign of Terror. This is Paris. Remember, all these charts, I've drawn all these charts. Uranus is absolutely positively squared Jupiter on this Reign of Terror. Uranus is absolutely there. As I said before, here's Chiron and Mars, which would be conjunct the Grand Cross date right here. You see that? You see how that worked? Are you collecting the charts? And look where the Aquarius is. So look at the Aquarius. We have the nodes. The node is sitting there at 6 degrees Pisces, and that would be sextile to the node that's going to be at 6 degrees here, right? There's the node here, 6 degrees in Taurus in 2041. All the charts link up perfectly. Look at the look at this one right here too. Holy cow! There's some really good charts here, guys. When you look at these charts, but the thing is that the Reign of Terror chart, Pluto is in the same place. And look where Saturn is, 15 degrees Taurus, right? It's absolute craziness. And as I said before, with this Reign of Terror chart at noon, you have Jupiter amplifying the energy of Pluto and Mars in Scorpio. Yeah, he's right there on the inside of the cusp. You know, sorry about that. The thing likes to move around. Yeah, it's a crazy bunch of little charts, folks. I want to be done with this now. I hope you see how everything is linked out, and we keep on getting these very clear canaries in the coal mine that this this time period between 2039 and 2041, this time period is something that we should absolutely prepare for, right? This is the turning point right here. You know, and things get bigger in the future, right? We are absolutely using much more dangerous arrows now than we were back in the Reign of Terror, right? Look, folks, I mean, it's just Sunday. It's the father talking to me. I'm a Leo, 3 degrees, right? 3 degrees Leo. I have a Scorpio. I have a Mars that squared my sun. And I have all the life characteristics of having a Mars square sun. I know what this friction's all about. It's the driver, right? When you have these two, and they're both my dominant planets, the sun and the. Okay, and I want you to look at this now. Now that we've looked at this part of the charts, let me just give you the details here. First off, for the December 24th, 1955 date, you know, when we look at this date right here, Jupiter's at 1 degree Virgo, right? Look what Mercury's doing. Look at Mars. Look what Pluto is absolutely doing. Pluto is where he's in his new moon stage to where he will be for 2039 and 2041. I mean, that's the waxing stage of those years compared to December 24th. But look, once again, the 5th house, right? The house of the sun. Look at the, and this is the exact moment. Once again, these are the exact moments. That likes to do this, eh? It absolutely annoys me. You see this exact moment here? This is the exact moment that Neptune moves over, right? And look, it's well in the 5th house, and we have a Mercury ruler but when you look at this part of Gemini, it's Gemini for the first decan, then Gemini Libra, and then Gemini Aquarius, right? For that 3rd decan, right? But it's that 28 degree mark. You know that 28 degree mark? And look how that is in conjunct. Look at how that 28 degree mark of Gemini is in conjunct Saturn, right? I mean, it's perfect. The father is uncanny this way. Look how perfect the father is. The ascendant is in conjunct to Saturn, and this is the time, right? Saturn is all about looking at time. It's 1 degree out, right? It's Saturn. I mean, it's just past that moment, right? And this is the absolute moment. If you roll this thing back to 4:33, Neptune will be at 29 degrees 59 minutes. Okay, so when we want to look at this date, what was heaven doing, right? In his Christmas radio message aired by the Vatican Radio, Pope Pius XII asked for the banishment of nuclear weapons. This speech is relayed also by Radio Moscow, except for the part where the Pope confirms the condemnation of communism. Saturday, right? Saturday, Capricorn, Saturday. Saturday is the Sabbath, and Saturday is the day of structure, and Saturday is the day of Saturn, right? Saturn day. And he's the key player. When you look at the chart, I mean, there's the inconjunct between Mercury, you know? There was the message. The Pope made the message. And these charts all hook together. They all link together too. I mean, it's perfect. I can't lie. I've done my homework here. You know, above and beyond any other astrologer on YouTube. Above and beyond any other astrologer, right? Look at the White Terror. This is all the thing. These are all the dates for the White Terror. And then you come down here. The last date is the 27th of June. Members of the former Revolutionary Tribunal at Orange are killed and then thrown into the Rhone, right? And that's the 27th of June, right? So when we go back here like this, Neptune in Scorpio, 1795, 27th June. And this is where we have these two planets perfectly lined up to Pluto. Who is the Antichrist? Holy cow. Very, very interesting, don't we think? And where are we at now? Here's the 1712 date right here. There's more stuff going on. I mean, you know, when you look at through February here, uprising, right? It's always the same kind of stuff. But the difference between this date right here and then we have this right here, this is very important to look at because supposedly Neptune in this time of him moving into Taurus, remember the last time, look at the time period of this delta minimum, okay? So, sunspots. Look at the time period of this delta minimum. Very easy to understand. 1790 to 1830. There were food shortages or famine, and it all goes. If you want to draw to where Pluto was, once again, Pluto is in this time period. You know, when you look at this time period, Pluto is where, right? When you look at it, 1790, here's 1875, right? Here's 1875. Where's Pluto here? Pluto's over here, but there isn't a delta minimum going on yet. But when you go to 1795, and then right here, the reign of terror, 1793, he's in this Aquarius, right? He's in Aquarius. Pluto's in Aquarius. You know, he's the mass. And there was mass freezing, right? Mass cold. it was colder than normal. And there was low sunspots, right? It's all true, and this is what we can look for. This is what NASA is already saying. They've already released a report that there'll be 0 sunspots through the late part, next to 0 sunspots to the late part of the 30s and the early part of the 40s, right? No sunspots. And here's Pluto in a very cold place called Aquarius. Aquarius is the coldest month of the year. It's not the warmest month. Well, I hope you've enjoyed your visit with me today. And I hope you've learned something about the trade over energy, right? Remember where we get this trade over energy? We get it from the story of Christ. He's crucified, then he sits in a tomb, then he rises on the 3rd day. And that's where we get this trade over period from, of the cusps of the signs. Be knowledgeable with your natal chart. Know how Neptune will be influencing you in this next 20 years to come. And remember about free will, right? Neptune has this nasty side to him, right? When we're hanging out in the dark side of Neptune, we're up to no good, you know, in the dark, right? What are we doing in the dark? When we play on the bad side of Neptune. Talk to you soon. All the best to you. Know the rulers of your natal chart and pray to them.